Hi, welcome back to HATV. I'm Ann Malkmus.
And I'm Paul Malkmus.
We have some special guests here today. We have Mike and Gail LaFramboise from Columbus, Georgia. And between them, they've got some fascinating stories to tell you how the Hallelujah Diet has affected their lives. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
It's been really neat just chatting for a little bit, and it sounds like you had quite a transition that took place in your health. And could you tell us a little bit about where you were at and what happened?
Yes, I sure will. First of all, let me say we started the Hallelujah Diet in November of 2010, so we've been on now for about 4 months,
Okay.
4 or 5 months. And in November of 2009, a year prior to starting the diet, I did infection. And while the sinus infection wasn't very much fun, what was really bothersome was I developed an inner ear problem with that. There was lots of inflammation and swelling, and as a result, my ear, my jaw, and my throat were very painful. I mean, almost constantly, 24/7. So I went to my family practice doctor, and he put me on an antibiotic. And while I was on the antibiotic, the discomfort went away, the pain went away. But as soon as I went off of it, it came back. And so after that didn't work, he put me on another antibiotic. That time it was 750 milligrams of Levaquin. The same thing happened. The pain and discomfort went away, but as soon as I went back off of it, within just like 2 days, it came back. So I started this journey of going to specialists. I went in, after my family practice doctor a couple of times, I went to 4 specialists during this year. And by the end of that year, prior to starting the Hallelujah Diet, I was had been on 7 antibiotics, a steroid. I'd had an MRI, a CAT scan, and sinus x-rays. And finally, in the very end, the last ear, nose, and throat specialist that I went to said, you may just have to deal with this for the rest of your life.
Wow.
So interestingly enough, a good friend of mine had told me about the Hallelujah Diet, and so I started doing some research into it and thought, hey, this sounds really promising. I'm going to give it a try. If it can clear up all these other things for people, surely it can clear up my ear and throat problem. And so I did, and on day 15 of the diet, I made special note of that. On day 15 of the diet, my ear started to heal. I mean, I could actually feel the healing take place. And the best way I can describe it is it's sort of like turning off a faucet or something. It was just like gradually the pain and the discomfort just kind of faded away.
How many days after the 15th day did it take for it to be completely gone?
I really don't remember, but it was not very that long. Probably, I'm going to say 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
I mean, it was.
Once it started to go, it just
was
really.
Yeah, she would
quick.
say it's like 95%, it's like 85%, And so it was going down, and she would tell me, how better it was, and then it hung there at about 98% for a while. And
Yes. How did that make you feel? Here you changed your diet after all those months of doctoring. How did that make you feel?
Fabulous. I mean, absolutely fabulous. But I mean, in looking back, I was on 7 antibiotics for nothing. I mean, absolutely nothing. And I think, it's obvious that I wasn't getting to the root cause of the problem. I mean, that is just so obvious because the antibiotics, whether I was on them 10 days or 14 days, or one time I was on 21 days of clindamycin, during the time I was on it, my ear and throat, they were fine. But within 1 to 2 days after going off of it, the same thing, the same pain and discomfort would come back. And it was a constant problem. I know I drove him crazy talking about, my ear, but it was constantly holding my hand, up to my ear, just trying to cope with the pain and the discomfort.
Now, you said you had some other symptoms, I guess illness-related issues, and you've even noticed some changes in those already.
Yes. In 1991, I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid, and so for the last 20 years, I've been on Synthroid. Wow. And I recently have decreased my dosage one time already. I've gone from 88 micrograms to 75 micrograms. So I know the symptoms when you're getting too much thyroid, and I'm back at the point where I know I'm going to have to drop it again. So as soon as I get home, I'm going to go back to the doctor and have that checked, because I'm definitely having the symptoms of too much thyroid. So I think probably, I'm guessing in the next 3 or 4 months, I'll be able to come off of it totally.
Wow.
That's really neat, isn't
So,
it? Yeah.
and in addition to that, I found out in November, early November, that my cholesterol is 260. I've also, for the last 20 years, had high cholesterol, and I've been on 10 milligrams of Socor, and have managed to keep it down in a reasonable range with that. But this last November, I found out that it was 260 even on the medication. So my doctor wanted to put me on more medication, increase the dose or whatever, and I'm just not going there. I said, give me 3 months with diet, and let's recheck it and see. I mean, my goal is to also go off of that medication,
Sure.
and I'm confident that I can.
And you do juicing?
We do.
Good.
We sure do. We sure do.
That's such a powerful part of this diet.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
And have you noticed any change in your well-being, Mike?
For the most part, I've been blessed with good health, but as I just turned 65, so aches and pains and things like that. But since I've been on a diet, they've gone away. I've gotten more energy, but the big thing is I've been along with her on this whole journey, and I've seen what changes has gone on. So yeah, I am 100% supporter. We're doing this together.
That's really neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's an incredible testimony.
Here's a retired couple. They haven't even been married very long, but boy, don't they have the future together that most people at that age probably wouldn't have expected to have. Well done.
Now, you participated in the Reclaim Your Health program?
Yes, we did the 60-day Reclaim the Health, and again, because we were retired, we could run our own schedule. So first thing in the morning, we'd grab the laptop and we'd crank up the top of the bed, and we'd watch the video, and it was really key for us because it helped us understand how to do the diet, and all the recipes. I had gone to a restaurant with my daughter in New York City about 2 years ago, and we went to a vegan restaurant, and after we had a great meal, and I said, if I could eat like that all the time, I would have no problem being a vegan. Well, a lot of the recipes that came across were just in line with that. So I don't have a problem because the food tastes so good. So
That's really
That's
neat.
really great.
And so you found the 6-day program really helped you get on the program. and the
exactly,
diet.
really get us started and know how to do it. Because just sometimes reading a book just isn't enough.
No, step by step, not too much, just enough to get you started. Good for you.
And we've worked all our lives, so to take the time to read through the information, that kind of thing, it was tough to do when you were raising a family and you were working a full-time job. And this was just kind of all in one package and, really easy to understand.
Wow,
We thoroughly
that's
enjoyed it.
really neat. Thank you so much for coming on and
sure.
sharing your experiences. And we know that you're going to bless many people in the audience. Yes.
We hope so.
Yeah. And thank you for joining us here on HATV. And we know that this testimony has been a real blessing to you, and look forward to seeing you next time. This is AM and PM.